Hi, Thiago. Welcome to the podcast. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Thiago Da Costa. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Datagrid. My company is building agentic AI for the built world. We are a 5-year-old company now. We started off with data and then we launched agentic AI. My background is in physics, mechanical engineering. I'm a 2 times founder. I exited a couple companies before, worked at Autodesk for several years, and been in the space for a little bit now.
What is AI? What is Datagrid trying to solve?
Datagrid tries to build a agentic AI product that essentially combines the best of all the platforms and softwares you already use with agentic AI, which means the AI is not just using those platforms for querying data, is actually executing a task end-to-end, a workflow. So if you want to think about any workflow in construction, that's what we're targeting with the agentic AI. We want to execute that workflow.
Okay, so there are different types of AI systems, right? There's large language models, there's agentic AIs. Can you tell me the difference between agentic AI and LLM?
Yeah, so like you have to build from the bottom, right? So you have AI models or large language models, and now visual language models, which is what we build, and you have that only does predictions. So you can only predict the next token, really predict the next word, predict where something might be, predict the output of something. So that's just predictions. Then at the next level up, you could have an agent. An agent is essentially you would engineer or hard code a piece of software that does a task. So for example, a call center agent would be engineered so that it can take a call and respond to a request. And then the next level up from that is agentic AI, which means the AI is just taking a guess of what it should do, and it's trying to behave more like a human and take agency for the outcome. So it's trying to figure out what to do, what are the right steps to do, and it's running those steps to complete that task entirely.
So would you say the agentic AI is always running and is proactively trying to solve your problem? So you don't have to ask it. So like a large language model, you sit down and say, hey, I need to find this information. Agentic AI is like, okay, you're in charge of this part of the project. When something happens, flag me or do things. And so you give it a responsibility and it just works like a person.
Yeah. So agentic AI is relying on this concept of agency. So agency is when I ask someone to, let's set up a podcast, and you encounter many problems setting up the podcast. You have to find the location, you have to buy the equipment, you have to bring people on site, you have to deal with schedules. Those are all unpredictable things that just happen. And agentic AI is relying on this idea that agency that we humans have should be given to AI, so AI can actually try to complete the task, even though it might encounter problems. It can use tools to get around that problem. It can use memory to remember how to solve a problem. It can use all these different skills to, essentially complete the task that the human would complete entirely end to end. So it's proactive, but it's also about running an entire thing all the way to the end and actually completing the task that the human would have to complete.
Okay, so we are in the design and construction industry. Can you give us some concrete examples about how people are using agentic AI as a contractor, engineer, or owner?
Yeah. So like, I'm actually going to give the example on the 3 different levels. So like if you just use the LLM, you could say, can you generate an answer for me? And then the first thing you're going to encounter is that it doesn't have context to generate an answer. So you're going to have to give the context of the project. And then soon enough, you're going to find out that you can't really give all the context to an LLM. So you're going to need to have something else that actually takes in that context, understands that context, and is able to do the task. So let's take one task, an RFI. So somebody needs to create an RFI, and that person that's creating an RFI is looking at a drawing with a markup and potentially a text message and an email, and he's trying to take all that information and combine into an object inside of a project management system that is called an RFI, and it has a question and is written out and has an attachment and potentially a due date and a scheduling impact and a cost impact or any other thing that goes with an RFI, and tagging the right people. So the AI can't really do much for you there, like an AI model. So agentic AI, on the other hand, you give it the document and it actually figures out the entire RFI. It writes the RFI,
Yeah.
It looks up at the context of the project. It finds all the vendors. It finds all the people that are involved with that. It finds out who should respond to the RFI. It finds out if the response already existed in another document.
Wow.
And he does the entire task and he completes the entire RFI. Same thing with any other task in construction. There's 70 core workflows in construction. So it could be a submittal review process. It could be a project closeout. It could be a contract review. All these tasks are actually multi-step and they are agentic if you look at them.
So if let's say I'm a pre-construction person or I'm a project manager, instead of having to train project engineers to do these individual tasks, I can assign some of the work to agentic AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And basically what it's going to do is allow me to increase my capacity 10 times without any additional effort. And it's going to come back with some answers every day. And I just check the answers, right? I'm just there to quality control check. Is this kind of the model that you guys are doing?
Yeah, yeah. So it could be that you're thinking about agentic AI more like as an employee, maybe a junior employee right now, but you're thinking more about it as a end-to-end, agent that actually does the task.
So it'll be like a person. Let's say you're doing estimating. You need somebody to count bathrooms. You have like a quantity takeoff agent, and you send it work, and it'll take the plans and it'll give you a table of things. That could be one agent.
That's one example, yeah. The difference there is like a person doing takeoffs, they don't really give a drawing, actually. The person generally goes page by page. So going page by page is something our agents do. So if you give a 1,000-page document, you say, can you look at all the quantities on this 1,000-page document? It'll actually go page by itself. It actually figures out that it can't look at 1,000 pages at the same time. It needs to look at it page by page. And it does that task and potentially aggregates all the responses at the end to get one final count. Now, there's specialized tools for counting and area calculations and things like that, so we don't need to get too much into that because that workflow can be very specific. But other examples of this would be, submittal reviews. Submittal reviews are really deep. You have to actually look at a lot of specifications, and you have to itemize all the requirements in the spec that were written by the architect. And you have to look at those things that are just pure text, like something needs to be 6 inches long or 10 inches thick or whatnot. And you have to take all those requirements and figure out if the shop drawings and the submittal is actually complying to that. That's an immense task. It takes hours to look through.
Or days.
Or days. Commonly, like people have 60, 70 open submittals that they haven't had the time to review. And sometimes it's just the way it is. But our customers are doing like 20 reviews in 4 hours of submittals, and they actually compare. And our submittal reviewer tool agent can find 4 times more issues.
So it's flagging risks for you. So you're saying, hey, these are the drawings. Look at the submittals. Check for inconsistencies. Check for problems that I need to be aware of. Find it for me, and it's finding it for you, and you just kind of like work from there.
Yeah. RAG tools and AI is kind of like having a librarian. Like it's very good at like telling you which book and which page in the book something is. And agentic AIs have a project manager that actually executes the work.
So as someone who builds tools for AI, do you use AI for your job? And if so, what do you use it for?
We use AI for everything. Like we use it from marketing to sales to customer success. We use it to provide investor updates. We use it for literally everything in the business. We have been able to grow and become very efficient as a company because of AI, because we have the ability to design a solution to a problem without having to hire headcount. And it's been one of, I think, the biggest unlocks for our business personally, and for our customers too, is they are able to hire people to do things that people are good at and not hiring people that actually hate some of the work that they have to do.
Does your AI read your emails for you?
Yeah, so our AI connects to emails, calendars, more than 100 platforms. So very commonly, people will connect their submittals, their specs, and their email. And they will ask the AI to write coordination steps back to their subs and to whoever else they have to write with. I actually just did this today with a customer, and it blew them away, where they asked the AI to review a submittal. He did the entire submittal review. He came back with coordination steps, and one step was to create an RFI, and we asked it right from there, create the RFI, and the AI literally created an entire RFI, wrote the entire thing, and drafted an email to follow up with the appropriate subs. So that just unlocks 70% of the work that you would have to do. So you can spend 30% of the time on the things that you really need to pay attention to, rather than have to do the 70% work and then be exhausted and you can't get to the 30%.
Okay, what are the typical users of Datagrid?
Project engineers, PMs, project executives. We have a lot of subcontractors, field teams, superintendents now starting to use it. We have a welder using it. So we have people that come from very different backgrounds that need to get information and get these tasks done for them. And it could be just like as simple as creating a daily log where a field team is on the site and they need to create a data log. You can do that with an agentic AI system now. Mm-hmm. Basically, turn on an agent, text the agent, talk about what you did today, and it creates the daily log for you. Rather than have to sit down and I'll type out everything that happened in the job that day so you can get paid.
Oh, so you can just talk to it and then it'll capture everything you say and then it'll turn it into the daily log for you. So you say, so you're just recording, I'm here checking this here, 9 o'clock, I'm looking at this, and this.
Yeah.
10 o'clock, this, and this is working. And then at the end of the day, say, hey, agentic AI, can you take everything I said today and make it into a daily report?
Yeah, normally throughout the day, people send text messages to the AI saying, hey, I'm doing this, or here's a photo of what I did.
Oh, okay.
And then it's a multimodal agent that we built. It's called Magpie and is our own custom agentic model for this stuff. And essentially is designed to do tasks on drawings, photos, construction site photographs, videos, and so on.
Would multiple people send the data to that AI? So like you have a group of 10 people as they're doing their work. They write, talk, send it to the AI. And at the end of the day, you ask the AI, what did we do as a team today? And it summarizes everything.
Yeah. We have that deployed on jobs right now where there's a phone number for sending the daily log and people just text that agent throughout the day and they can continue to text and the AI just compiles one log for the end of the day for that crew.
So AI is pretty new in construction. What makes you uniquely qualified to solve this problem and kind of what drew you to solve this problem?
Yeah, so it's interesting because my background, I started, I did a bunch of research in physics. I built a couple of physics solutions. I sold them. I then went into build a mechanical engineering tool. I sold that and I was in the largest company in construction technology, really Autodesk, for 5 years, building out data and solving data problems. So, I got a couple patents on that. I wrote about collaboration. I wrote about high frequency data management, which is a problem with data management. And I actually own part of the AI research there before leaving. And when I actually read the 2017 paper by Google, Attention is All You Need, and the 2019 paper or 2018 paper by OpenAI that language models are multitask learners. Unsupervised multitask learners, which is really good. So I read these papers, and to me, it was very clear that the whole AI space was going to be blowing up, and it was going to enable us to do something that was impossible. At the time, AI wasn't where it is now. There was no generative AI. There was no ability to actually ask a model to generate an output that was any credible. And even back then, when you saw ChatGPT 2.0, which I trained myself, and I looked at how it worked, it was clear that it was something there, but it was going to take a little while. So we built a whole data layer first.
Okay.
Because to me, it was clear that if you were going to have AI working well, you need data. So we spent 5 years. We started the company in 2020, and we spent the first 3 years just doing data, getting really good at merging all data together so that we can create one context for the project, for the team, for the query you were asking, for whatever. And then solve analytical problems and then semantic problems within documents and drawings and photographs and all these other things. So we started there. We started on the data side because to us, data was going to power AI. And when ChatGPT 3 came around, it became very obvious that you could actually do something quite useful, but you had to still tune and customize that to construction. So we started back then in 2023, if I want to say, we started working towards this vision, and we launched this product in 2024, and it's been on fire. We have tons of customers. We're growing faster than we can hire. We're raising a lot of money now, so we're actually growing the company very quickly. But I would say the unique credibility here, you have to understand machine learning and AI. You have to understand what embedding models are. You have to understand what it can and cannot do, because you cannot promise things that it can't do. And you also have lots of opportunities. So you have to understand how machine learning, predictions, all these things work to design an agentic system. And then you have to have all the connections to all the software tools that people are using, Procore, Trimble, Autodesk, Hilti, Fieldwire product, which is used on job sites all over, and 50 other things. So we had these two things. We knew what needed to be done. We had all the data and all the connections to all the platforms. So for us, it was obvious we were the best qualified to do this. And so we jumped on it, and it's been probably the best decision we made as a company.
So the last 5 years has been crazy. What do you see in the next 5 years in the construction technology space?
Yeah, I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see dramatic changes on the actual stack, like the software stack. What do you need to actually get a building? So building buildings is very similar to building software. When you build a building, you actually imagine it as an architect, and then maybe you visualize it. And then you imagine it as a builder, and then maybe you hit reality. And you're always imagining before the thing is ready, and like it's only ready at the end, right? So it all exists in your mind for a very long time. So building software is quite similar. Like it exists in your mind. What's 5 years from now? It's all in my head. Can I make it a reality? How do I make it a reality? What do I need to do to make it a reality? So I think we're living through that stage now where we're going from believing that AI is a tool to AI is literally the way that you get anything done. And I think it's kind of like the internet. Like I think if you 5 years